Go, and I'm recording this.
Recording in progress.
Why, I don't know, but I am. All right. So all systems are go this morning. The problem with the sound yesterday morning was I have no idea because I changed no settings and then it started working perfectly. So it's the ghost in the machine. Hello, dear friends. I'm going to get myself a little better centered. It's morning here. Much darker these days at this time. Something's happening. I am Robert Beatty, or so I am called. Sometimes think very much of myself as, and other times not so much. And this is a broadcast of the Portland Insight Meditation Community. And we've been meeting here since the beginning of COVID. COVID, which is having quite a rebirth, isn't it? So you can find out a lot more about PIMC at portlandinsight.org. And you can find out a lot more about me at robertbeatty.com. So, a poem for the day, a moment of inspiration, a moment of beauty. You know, my iPad was open to this. So there's a competition between two. I'm going to read them both. From the Buddha. Thus should you look upon this changing world. All component things are impermanent. All component things are subject to dissolution. See all of this world as a star at dawn, a bubble in a stream, a flash of lightning in a summer cloud, a flickering lamp, a phantom, and a dream. That's a potent few lines, isn't it? Thus should you look upon this changing world. All component things are impermanent. All component things are subject to dissolution. See all of this world as a star at dawn, a bubble in a stream, a flash of lightning in a summer cloud, a flickering lamp, a phantom, and a dream. Yeah. And the other poem, it's been a few months, I know I read this. I think of this in a way as the founding document of PIMC. And I've certainly read this more than any other quote over the years at PIMC. I'll just read it once. So from Mr. Rogers. A friend of mine visited a beautiful monastery where a dozen monks, most of whom were in their 70s and 80s, were living. This is a place where once 60 to 70 men spent their lives studying and following a rule of very strict living, praying together 7 times a day, 7 days a week. They worked hard and were very successful. My friend asked one of the monks why he felt that over the years the community had dwindled from 60 to 12. His reply was, quote, "We did everything right. And somewhere in all that successful praying and work and living, we lost the most important thing of all, the thing that was so contagious and attracted people to us. We lost the naked love. Little by little, the success replaced the love. Oh, sure, you can have love and success, but the love must remain first, always first. Natural, affirming, inclusive, naked love. Love and success, always in that order. It's that simple, and it's that difficult." Love and success. I can take these off for now. Sound coming out of nowhere. Arising and passing away. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya. All component things are impermanent. My little dog Buddha is here for a pat in his impermanent way. And so we take our seat at the foot of the Bodhi tree. When Siddhartha sat down the night of his awakening, it was exact into contact with sickness, old age, and death. Who had been on a quest for some years, 6 or 7, really pushing at the edge of his understanding. And so he took a seat underneath that tree on that fateful night. And he plummeted into the present moment, into this moment now. And what is it that we discover now? There's a body sitting here. There's a body that breathes. There are thoughts. Perhaps there might not be thoughts. The truth of the universe is right here in every breath. In every thought. In every tingling of the hands. All component things are impermanent. And so we bring awareness and breathing in and breathing out together. can be very interesting to notice how the body breathes itself. It just does. How the mind throws up thoughts and the displays of the 5 hindrances, desire and aversion, liking and disliking. Restlessness, agitation, and worry. And sloth and torpor, sleepy dullness, and doubt sometimes. How there also sometimes is tranquility and ease and concentration. There are some things that are predictable. Right now, the sun is rising over the horizon of the house across the street here. Predictable to the nanosecond. And all during a whole lifetime. The breath is predictable. It's also predictable that it will stop at a time unknown to us. And so for now, in a moment of relative health and the capacity to sit, so many conditions are correct now, supportive of stopping and sitting. And so with great curiosity, what's happening? Noticing how mindfulness comes and goes. How somehow or another it awakens, and then there's presence with the breath for a breath or two, maybe a breath or 10 or 15 or maybe 100. Or how it's difficult to ever even find the breath at this moment. Both of these observations are perfect practice. Notice breathing in and breathing out. There is only now. The past exists as thoughts, memories, souvenirs. The future exists as fantasies, hopes, plans. Only now can be experienced. And in order to do this, we learn to accept the pleasant and the unpleasant. Pleasant mental states, pleasant physical states. Unpleasant mental states and physical states. Equally. Sometimes life will take monstrous turns, unpredictably. Sometimes it will take blessed turns, fantastic outcomes, unpredictably. And so here, right at the center of it all, there sits a body that breathes. we are profoundly conditioned to seek external stimulus, to listen to music, to follow the news, to rearrange something, to be concerned about the welfare of others. There's a place, of course, for all of this. It's called daily life. But the pilgrim on the inner journey becomes attuned to things much more subtle, to the tingling of life in the hands, to the aliveness in the feet, to the way thoughts form and then disappear. To the truth of emotions. To the observation that the past is a class of thoughts. To the practice of forgiveness and relinquishing, all holding to events of the past. Fantasied events, real events. Coming to now. To this very breath in. To this very breath out. Allowing, daring to experience the present moment in all its precious aliveness. In all its juicy, rich pleasure and pain, gain and loss, success and failure. This now the sun is up. A little intense. Makes nice shadows, doesn't it? But I'm going to close the blind. Ah. Thank you for coming to visit this morning, to visit each other, to sit around the campfire of the Dharma. Having a completely bizarre schizoid thought here. I was around the campfire of the Dharma. There's no fires allowed anywhere that Jennifer and I were on our trip. In fact, in California, they're closing all the national forests and campgrounds because everything's so tinder dry. I had this thought, sitting around the campfire of the Dharma, sharing s'mores. We made s'mores over the stove, the burner in the RV twice, and I'm not so sure about s'mores anymore. They're not really that great. The first bite is good, but by the time you get to that last bit, it's like, ugh, this is really. I mean, it is Hershey's, quote, chocolate after all. Anyway, that's not why you came here this morning. Oh, it's so good to sit together. So I have an announcement or two. One is to thank everyone who has already contributed to the building, the fundraising. If you haven't yet, or if your great inheritance from your great Aunt Sally came through last week and you'd like to contribute again, remember, it's your place. It's your Dharma Center that you're supporting. It's not mine. It's nobody's. It's all of ours. And the mission is of the highest order. The Buddha said, I teach only one thing: suffering and the end of suffering. And so, take a little while when you get the letter, or I don't have the link up now, but you can do it next time. Sit with your checkbook. That's what I've done for years around dana, the practice of generosity. There's the spontaneous things that happen during the day and so on, but around support of the Dharma, the teachings, take a little while and sit with it and think about, what is the importance of this to me? And how many lives can I help transform in a world which is getting more and more challenging and is showing no signs of getting simpler? Jim, are you still here? I don't see you. Maybe, oh, there you are. You're muted.
I was trying to find the link to the summer fund drive.
Oh, I can do that pretty easily here. I'll do it. Thanks, Jim. So I think that's. Have I missed anything huge? Here we are.
The first Sunday of the month is Candles Night. Can't think of the time, but she's on Sunday night, the first and third Sunday.
6:30.
6:30.
Yes, and I am now pasting the letter, the fundraising letter link. There we go. Thank you for that. Oh, it's there. Oh, Dave Mayer did. What?
Double vision here.
Dave Mayer.
Thank you, Dave.
You're hot. So, and you?
Good morning, Robert. It's Eileen, and I have a question that I hope you can clarify a concept. I know that I once again have gone down the rabbit hole of overthinking. So I'm just going to state the question without all my thoughts about it.
Okay.
And that is the Dharmic understanding or teaching of, and you talked about the truth of emotions. And I was, not to plug it, but to plug it, I was reading chapter 5 of your book, or on the 5 hindrances.
Oh, feel free to plug that fantastic book.
Well, I have it actually. Wait a second.
Oh, good. Show the cover.
With pens and notes.
Very nice.
And stuff. I took it on vacation, so I didn't get to that chapter. And then last night I actually read it because the thing that I get caught up with is that emotions are impersonal.
Yeah, weird.
And when I read, and I honestly think you should turn that into a children's book, that and everybody needs to read his story about explaining the five hindrances in Crater Lake. But you actually used the phrase I was looking for, which was, you said, then the story about the grandma, don't take it personally. But I understand acceptance of things, and like with rain or a storm, we didn't create it, etc. But when emotions are impersonal, what does that mean? Especially when there's the idea of cause and effect, which is karmic things. So, see, I'm already getting it confused. So could you please talk about what it means, the meaning of emotions are impersonal? Thank you.
Thanks, Eileen. I'm going to mute you, Jim. I did. Take that. There was a time of insanity in my life. Oh, there have been a lot of times of insanity, mostly. But in my first marriage, Kathleen and I were given some really bad advice by a therapist. Lovely person, but misguided. And he told us that it was really okay to say the things that were coming up in conversation, in conflict, and that we should be strong enough to just be able to hear whatever the other person said, no matter how intense. And so there were some very deep problems in that relationship. It lasted 17 years. But it was
Okay. Can't hear you.
Can't hear me?
Right. You went off for a minute.
Am I hearable now?
Yes.
So we had this crazy idea anyway, not to belabor the fact. And so we would say whatever came to mind with whatever intensity was there, whatever emotional intensity was there. And we would also throw in a glass or two of wine with that, which really helped a lot. And we did such damage, I don't think the relationship ever recovered from it, because while those deep feelings were, quote, real, they weren't the business of our partner, they were the business of ourselves to take care of. So that's when emotions get acted out as words and interpersonally. A much more skillful approach is to pause, to find that place, that inner still point, and to notice the arising of emotions, and to discover, we can really see how it's a phenomenon. An emotion is a phenomenon. And it is not that which is aware of it. Right? Emotions exist and why are emotions there? Well, they helped us survive. Flaring to anger and is terrific if you're being attacked. Having that immediate blast of adrenaline and, I'll protect myself. And we needed that for the longest of time, and sometimes now we still need that. But taking emotions seriously as mine and as true is really quite a trap, because then we wind up acting out the same old stuff again and again and again. And so that's why having a regular sitting practice, and sometimes when some emotion is really in full bloom, and the emotion could be depression or sadness or fear or loneliness or any of the affective phenomena, to be able to sit quietly in the middle of it and to watch, wow, this is what anger is. Wow, this is what depression is. This is what fear is. And to be able to sit in the midst of that and recognize how it arises and passes away, how it is fueled by thoughts and how it generates thoughts itself. And ultimately how it becomes to be an interesting object of observation. I got up to, I don't know what the heck's going on, but I got up this morning and the other side of my low back I was hobbling. And Jennifer got up a little while later and asked me how I was. And I said, well, there's two channels. The emotional, the spirit is really happy this morning. The body is a bit of a wreck. And there would have been a time when that body sensation would have provoked a lot of fear and maybe irritation. What the hell? Now it's the other side of my back. But there was none of that. And that comes, I think, from being able to observe, well, this is what's happening. And I don't need to feed any emotional story about it. It's just what's happening. Is that making sense? It's a strategy.
Yes, but you gave me exactly the piece I didn't have. In all my thinking, I had all the other pieces. And now it's so clear to me, and that's what I was writing down. When we sit with it, we are watching it, and we're saying, getting really deep into what fear is rather than the specific story and situation. And so we're really coming to see it and feel it in our bodies. And then, and that's where it's, instead of impersonal, it's getting to, even that's the word, it's getting to know that phenomenon that everybody experiences with different causation besides biological imperative. But the basic fear is what we're feeling. And so no matter what anybody else is feeling, we really get to what that feels like, but not just intellectually, which we all do, but in the body. And we come to know that. Is that
Amen. Yes.
Thank you. You don't know how many days I've been obsessing about this. And I didn't want to bring it up yesterday because it was your return. It just didn't feel right. So thank you.
Well, take heart. There will be something else to obsess about.
Sure. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, the obsessing mind, isn't it something? Though it does weaken in time. A lot. I'm certainly delighting in being here with you today. What a nice thing to do in the mornings.
Good morning, Robert. This is Leanne.
Hello, Leanne.
Hello there. Two things. One is, I know sometimes you don't read the chat, but I encourage you to read the funny things that people posted about s'mores.
Oh, hang on. Let's look. S'mores from Denise. Better made with a good salty potato chip and good chocolate. That's true. Good dark chocolate is the key to a tasty s'more. What's IMHO in my humble opinion? Okay, that's agreed. S'mores are below average. Finally, someone dares to speak the truth about s'mores. S'mores, maybe they should be called snuffs. Oh dear, this is heresy. I like making s'mores with bananas roasted in the fire instead of marshmallows. Really good. That's a very erudite conversation. Thank you for pointing it out.
Sure. The other thing is that I wanted to share, after 10 weeks of being at the bedside of my husband, he died.
Oh my.
It's been about a week, and it's okay. We were getting ready to take him home. He was doing much better, and I really thought he was going to be able to come home, and just took a turn quickly. And within a day, and I was with him, I stayed all night. He passed peacefully. So,
wow.
So plenty of emotions here, and also the mystery of my own kind of, am I coping? Is it my spiritual perspective? Why am I so okay? Shouldn't I be more devastated? I'm pretty devastated, but on some other level, I'm not. So I don't know why, but they always say there's no wrong way to do grief. So here we are.
May I make a proposal to you? You're both devastated and not devastated. The personality can be devastated. And that which knows, that which is aware, is not fazed by it at all. It's like, oh, right. This is what, when my dad died, we made an opportunity to view his body. And my sisters and I, and my then wife and I, went into the room where his body was lying, and walked up, and there he was. There was his face. And this roar came out of me. And I was completely okay, but this roaring was happening. And I had this thought, oh, this is how this son is reacting to the body of his father. And one of my sisters fled the room because I was being so indulgent in a way, but and my wife turned to me and said, "Robert, you can't do that with your sisters here." And it was very helpful because but I wasn't upset at all. But that part of me, that
amazing.
It's bizarre.
It is.
It's bizarre, and it's once mindfulness gets a really good grip, then the emotions become the personality becomes an object of observation. And with that personality, there is no right and wrong way. There's just how we grieve. Well, actually, I think our society has it profoundly wrong. That expressions of emotion are kind of forbidden in our culture, which is very unfortunate because it's not that way in much of the world. So I encourage you to. Wow. Can you take time off?
My whole life is time off.
I see. Well, good. I was going to say take off as much time as you can because this is a one-time event.
I did go to the beach yesterday. It was 1 week yesterday.
Yeah.
I drove out there, and Yeah, and then I came back and had an argument with his sons. You know, that's just all part of the
Yeah.
package. But I tell you, you know, through most of it, I was always trying to be there by 8 o'clock. And so I would listen to you. I didn't do a lot of sitting, but it just felt like you and all of you guys were with me because I had my phone and I was just listening. So, thank you all.
Is there anything that you would like from me or us in this moment?
I don't think so. Thank you. I'd love to share. Just finish the obituary last night and put up a website and stuff. So maybe I'll share that. Maybe not today, but I can share the link to that so you can see what an awesome guy he was.
I'd like that.
Thanks.
Thus should you look upon this changing world. All component things are impermanent. It's really true. It's hard to believe though, isn't it?
Not really, but I worked in hospice for so many years, so it's just not that hard to believe.
I see.
But there's the link. I just posted it.
Oh, great. Let me see if I got it here in the chat. Okay, there it is. I'm going to save that because I won't have to go find it in the chat somewhere. There. Paste. Good. Thanks, Leanne.
Thanks, everybody.
I really appreciate your bringing this to us, and please do keep us posted as you continue in. And you know, you worked in hospice. You know how grief is. Comes in waves. There aren't fixed stages. Kubler-Ross was a good pioneer, but she didn't get it quite right. We cycle through all the different states. And the more we can allow them to just roll, the more they do their own healing and transformation.
Robert,
Hadley.
the 2 channels you mentioned, is that what S.N. Goenka calls equanimity, or bringing forth equanimity in practice? Is that?
I would guess so. Yeah. Equanimity is one of the characteristics of that capacity of being present with the unbearable, bearing the unbearable. Bearing the vicissitudes, pleasure and pain, gain and loss, fame, disrepute. They come and they go, and increasingly we are capable of recognizing, oh, this is what a human feels. This is how it works. And fortunately, I don't have to manipulate it. I can allow it to be itself. That's one of the One of the wonderful things about Dharma practice, it really isn't about self-improvement. I mean, we often, and much of the way it's being taught in modernity is improve yourself, improve yourself. It's really about let yourself be exactly as you are and realize that you're free already. And there's all those cute sayings. Since there's nobody here, why try to improve them? Strange way to talk, though. Maybe not even helpful.
Robert, it's B.
B, hello. Long time
Hello.
no hear from you.
I know I've been quiet.
I
guess.
see you lurking there, but
I'm lurking. I just wanted to. I just wanted to thank Leanne for sharing from the beginning of this story to this space, this place of story. With us, it really, for me, it deepens the sense of Sangha, and I'm just really appreciative of that. But I just wanted to say that.
thank you. Agreed. Leanne, I'd like to offer this poem. It's from the Aztecs. It's an Aztec prayer. Oh, only for so short a while you have loaned us to each other, because we take form in your act of drawing us, and we take life in your painting us. But only for a short while have you loaned us to each other, because even a drawing cut into crystalline obsidian fades, and even the green feathers, the crown feathers of the quetzal bird, lose their color, and even the sounds of the waterfall die out in the dry season. So we too, because only for a short while have you loaned us to each other. Such a short time. Well, anybody sitting with something?
Robert, I do want to mention one thing. It's this past week. I don't know if anybody listens to Ezra Klein. He's a New York Times opinion person, and he puts out a weekly podcast. But this week he had an interview with Bezel Vanderkelt. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He wrote a book called The Body Keeps the Score several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like back up at the top of the New York Times bestseller list because of all of the COVID stuff. But I'm anybody who's interested, I just put a link to get that conversation in the chat. It's an extraordinary conversation about childhood trauma and really changes the perspective about, the reality of what childhood trauma is and how it's deeply misunderstood and much more prevalent than we think. And the thing that I thought was interesting, which came up as a result of our conversation today, was how important community is to avoiding the outfall from trauma. It's not the event itself, it's what we do to ourselves in response to the trauma. And if the community does not support each other in these traumatic times, then we're more likely to have unhealthy responses to it. And it's really a wonderful conversation if anybody's interested.
Thanks,
yes, I wanted to share that.
I'd underscore, no one escapes from childhood unscathed, because it's so difficult to be a human being.
But the trauma, I think, happens when the community does not acknowledge that to the person who is having, for so hard it is.
Yeah.
And I was just listening to us be with Leanne in her moment, thinking how extraordinary we have this community to be here with her in this very difficult time.
Yeah.
And
Amen. Well, shall we go out on Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam? Something of a traditional ritual.
Mangleberry.
Down through...
Leave it.
It's a dog. Down through thousands of years. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Well, see you Monday, possibly Sunday at 10. And in the meantime, let us bow to the reality of these lives with each other. And thank you for coming today. My beautiful friends, look at this. What a smorgasbord of beautiful faces.
We are s'mores.
What was that?
We are so much mores.
Yes. Bye-bye. Have a great day.
Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
So fun to hear you all laugh.
Yes. Goodbye, friends on Facebook and YouTube. Looks